Welcome to Kalinga Stadium in the eastern Indian city of Bhubaneswar. It's day one of the Hero Champions Trophy. It's the first game of the evening session, the third game of the first day, and the first time that we'll get a look at Pool B. Netherlands versus Argentina. Pretty much a rematch from two exciting matches that have happened in the past this year. Once when they met each other in the Hockey World League finals in Delhi in January, and once again in Netherlands during the Hockey World Cup. On each occasion, there was a different winner, Argentina winning the first of those encounters and Netherlands returning the favor on home soil during the World Cup. So lots and lots of pride to play for in this Pool B fixture. The other two teams, of course, in this pool are Germany and India. And we've already had two very exciting games. First one featured Australia and England. England winning that 3-1. And the second one, Belgium winning a slightly scrappy encounter. Scrappy in the senses of how aesthetic it was perhaps to watch, but beating Pakistan by 2-1. First course of action, as always, will be the anthems. We'll begin with the national anthem of the Netherlands. Leaving it all on the pitch, and what's heartening to see is the glorious turnout here at the Kalinga Stadium, and the home team has still not taken to the pitch. So one would expect that to only build up as the evening progresses. Third of 4 games on the opening day. 6 exciting match days of action here in the Hero Champions Trophy, with all at stake in every game, even though these are pool matches, with all teams already having gained entry into the quarterfinals. Let's take a look at the lineups for today. This is Netherlands. Watch out for a lot of class players out there, the likes of Jeroen Hertzberger, who's playing his 150th match, incidentally, in a Netherlands shirt. Rogier Hoffman is there, and Robert van der Horst, who's an absolutely sensational midfielder. Watch out also for the drag flicks of Mink van der Weerden, number 30 on the team list there. They're coached, of course, by an Argentinian these days, Max Caldas, whose last significant success was, of course, with the Netherlands women's team, who will be in action later on in the Women's Champions Trophy semi-final, ironically, against Argentina themselves. This is the Argentina lineup. Watch out for their triad of players, the likes of Lucas Villa, number 12 there, Agustin Mazzilli, who is very, very amazing. He's starting, of course, on the bench, number 26. And when he combines very well with somebody like Juan Lopez, number 17, as well as the captain, Matthias Paredes, then they can cause a lot of problems. Facundo Caglioni is another player to watch out for. Gonzalo Payat is their penalty corner specialist. Number 2 is what he wears. normally. Carlos Retegi, somebody who has coached both the women's and men's team. In fact, he did double duties during the World Cup and skipped from one pitch to the other when the Argentinian women were taking to the pitch in an adjacent pitch for that particular tournament. The umpires for today, Raghu Prasad of India, and he is joined today by Peter Wright from South Africa. Two very, very experienced officials. And it is Netherlands who get things moving. Netherlands in their familiar orange, playing from right to left on your TV screens. Up against them, Albi Celeste colours for the Argentinians, left to right. I'm Divan Singh. Joining me today in the commentary box for this one is ex-England goalkeeper and former president of the England Hockey Board, Simon Mason.
Good evening, Divan. Looking forward to this. Can the Dutch, new goalkeeper today, Perman Black, can he find a way to stop Piat, who was a goal machine in the World Cup? Scored goals for fun pretty much from penalty corners. Can the Argentinians re-find that momentum they created in that tournament? They came out with some amazing results and pull off an early shock in this competition.
Well, they have done it in the past, of course, during the Hockey World League finals, and it was against the same opposition. It was a very, very exciting opening encounter. 5-2 in the end for the Argentinians, and they will have to rediscover some sort of momentum of that sort. At the moment, possession with the Dutch. They like dictating terms, they like controlling the pace of the match, and that is possibly what one will get to see in the early exchanges.
Well, the other thing that the Argentinians have done really successfully over the last 6 months particularly is they set a fairly deep defence, rely on the counter-attacking skills of players like Brunet or Mazzilli, as you've mentioned already, and then sit back once they've scored a goal, allowing teams to come at them and rely on the skills of the goalkeeper Vivaldi and his back line in front of him. So far, in these very, very early moments, we have seen the Argentinians quite happy to press out with an attacking press, and as we look now to the right of the picture that you see now, they're stepping up high into the Dutch circle.
This is Paylat. Watch out for him, especially when Argentina, if and when Argentina get a chance with the short corners. Top marksman from that mode of scoring.
Well, and as he drifts out of this right half, just coming out the bottom of the screen, what he's looking for is when the ball comes back to him, he's looking for his forwards have led into the centre of the pitch, creating a space in the bottom corner for the overhead. Being quite patient, Argentina, creating that long ball, not looking to go into midfield where they might get it stolen.
At the moment with Hilardi, looking up for his options. He chooses to swap it around, still with Argentinian position. It's been with them for the last 30 seconds to a minute or so, slowly looking to build on an attack.
Well, here's testing the patience of the Dutch front line. The Dutch front line sitting at that 60-metre press, and now they're able to step forward. Sander Bart in the end going to ground, and Hertzberg getting the ball back for him.
And once again, just some early signs. A couple of players just losing their footing. That's been a feature of the day's play, and one will have to see how this turf behaves in the evening under lights. Mink van der Weerden, very, very dangerous himself from set-piece situations, particularly the short corners. Is the captain, Van der Horst.
Great skill.
Here's Hertzberger. Could be the first chance here. Looking to line it up on his reverse, but a good bit of defending.
Great knock the ball away, just jabbing back to his back line from Van der Horst. He created all of that by just dinking the ball right to left as he drove through.
This was slapped through and it came off an Argentinian stick. Will be a long corner. Sander Bart through to Van der Weerden, playing in that sweeper role, pretty much the lone man in defense when Netherlands look to move forward. Oh, hit in with some pace, comes off the post. Could there be a re-enactment of that opportunity? That was pretty much the first big chance, and it came to the Dutchman.
Well, penalty corner's been given. It gets a deflection off a foot in the middle of the circle there onto the post. Umpire right, allowing good advantage, but Vivaldi closed down so well. There was no real outcome for the Dutch, no real meaningful shot on goal. Therefore, they now have to face the power of Mink van der Weerden in this first penalty corner.
Absolutely. Will he draw first blood? This could well turn out to be a match where the penalty corners could decide effectively the scoreline, and Mink van der Weerden will have the first opportunity. He's the first battery, and he's joined alongside by Jeroen Hertzberger, playing his 150th match for the Netherlands.
Well, Hertzberger likes to go across the goal to his left, the goalkeeper's right. So from that castle on the right, you'd expect him to pull across. But I think this will go to Van der Weerde.
Here comes the number 30, just going wide, but comes off a foot, and that's why it's been given as a second penalty corner now for the Dutch.
That injection looked incredibly slow as it got to the top of the circle. Didn't seem to be coming out with the sort of pace you would normally expect. That's hit the second runner. Van der Weerde trying to go to Vivaldi's left hand.
Once again, the injection will come in from Floris van der Linden. It's Van der Weerde this time around, and a desperate save.
Umpire, I think, is calling for his own referral. Seems to have gone through Vivaldi. It's an umpire's referral, a team referral? A team referral. No, he's pointed to himself, so I think this is an umpire's referral. He's asking just to assess whether the ball's gone over the line or not.
And the Dutchmen are celebrating already, so they are convinced that they've had the first goal. Let's take a look.
Well, we haven't seen a replay that's told us that it's the first goal, so I'm not sure how they think they can. Not gone on the big screen, so... Well, the Argentinians are convinced it hasn't gone over the line. I didn't think it had. I think it's kind of bounced around underneath Vivaldi. No, that's gone nowhere near over the line. The re-award because it's come off the body of the #1 runner. I don't quite know how the Dutch were suggesting that had gone over the line. It was a good 6 inches short.
It's a timely intervention there from Manuel Brunet.
Brilliant stop on the line. Deflection into Vivaldi. He's managed to get on top of it. And Brunet on the line off the goalkeeper.
There's a foot there. Foot. See that? Yes, yeah. I have no advice possible. You can remain with your decision. There, or change to the corner after looking at that, yeah?
Yeah, see that's...
Okay, wait, let's just see where one more angle, yeah?
So the on-field umpire, if you can... We see a replay again here from this angle. This doesn't look like it goes anywhere near across the line. That's the stick head's on the line, the ball's hit 6 inches up the stick. Physics dictate that can't possibly have gone over the line. Umpire on field has taken charge of that, which I think is a fantastic choice. Both sets of players are happy with the outcome.
What it does is it means it's a hat-trick of corners. Can they take advantage of the third one, the Dutch? Don't want too many bites of the cherry, especially with Mink van der Weerde out there. Again, the runner comes out. Again, it strikes him. And again, it's another penalty corner.
Well, I know there's been various bits and pieces across social media about face masks and danger in light of the cricket situation, but these are #1 runners running directly down the line of the ball. They're coming off the goalkeeper's feet to push. And I think we have to start to question the number of impacts between ball and #1 runner when we look at the lines.
Not fourth time lucky as yet, and it won't be the situation because eventually the Argentinians get behind the ball and clear it away.
Yeah, and every now and again a pitch is going to play a little bit bobbly. Haven't seen it too many times during the course of this competition so far, and what I felt the Dutch were doing on the first, certainly on the first two, was taking a little bit of pace off the injection just to give them the chance of making sure of that trap and getting a shot on goal. Now's when Argentina are dangerous though. This is what they do so well, carry the ball forward so quickly.
And a move that was initiated by the man who had made that goal line save, Brunet.
So there he goes, just takes a little pitch off the turf. That's a great bit of skill from Hertzberger to bring it down. Kemperman probably didn't need the second touch. Should have just let it go to Van der Weerde to start with.
Now a chance for Argentina to build on some pressure of their own. That red dot next to their score line would indicate that the appeal that they had made against that penalty corner was declined.
Which is an interesting state of affairs because I wasn't sure whether it was a team referral or an umpire referral to start with to find out. If it's an umpire referral, obviously the team don't lose theirs. Wasn't clear to me which signal had been given. Thought we saw Team to start with, and then the umpire bringing it on himself by tapping his own chest. We might see a review of those coloured dots at some stage.
I think it's about to happen. You're absolutely right there. We will see green balls against both names because, as rightly pointed out by Simon, it was an umpire's referral taken by Peter Wright of South Africa.
And this evening's lottery numbers are.
That would indicate that the referrals are still on those green dots against the names on the giant screen here at the Kalinga Stadium. It's a beautiful ground. It's my first time here. Yours as well, Simon?
Yes, it is indeed. And there's apparently a huge amount of local interest in hockey, not just for the home team. Quite often when we see competitions play in Delhi, the crowds build as the Indian team starts to play. But here there's been real interest through the whole day. Great spin.
Still possession with the Dutch. And just to take up that point of yours, oh, that's a good save. Needed to be swift, and he's lost part of his shin pads in the process.
Yeah, he won't be happy with his teammate for making him sprint and dive. If only because technically if you put your hands down on the turf and your hands get very wet, then suddenly there's that little bit of moisture between the grip of the stick and your hands, and sometimes the stick can slip and slide, and the margins are so fine at this level with stick skills.
Good skills there from the Dutchman, Gele Khalima, somebody who was part of the youth team which came down last December to India and played at the National Stadium in Delhi.
Well, as you watch this skill, great little insert, turns his ball underneath his feet and rotates his body at the same time as moving the stick and the ball.
Well, Khalema was there at the Junior World Cup, and as we were mentioning, we haven't really had the same kind of reaction or the same kind of crowd presence in Delhi. Possibly has to do with the fact, Simon, that Delhi really hasn't had a hockey player of note come out in the last few years. So until and unless there's a local hero who comes out, these parts have produced a number of international players. The most notable in recent years has been Dilip Tirki, and that has led to a lot of interest coming in from the local population, some role models.
Yeah, I think also the people I've spoken to, Delhi's becoming a very cosmopolitan city, multicultural, lots of different things to be interested in. Therefore it becomes less passionate about one of their national sports, as opposed to when you get into this community, and it's an absolute hotbed of hockey interest, and they'll come out and watch numerous games, not just the home team.
At the moment they are watching an absorbing tactical battle between these two teams. We expected it to be close, and that's how it's turned out to be. Netherlands will have to bring their A game to beat Argentina today. Here's Sander Bart. Some support first from Kemperman. Now down the right, it's Captain Van der Horst. And this is looking promising for them. Moving forward in good numbers.
Umpire Peter Wright saying sorry that he blew the whistle a little bit quickly. There was a potential advantage for the Dutch.
Once again, just coming off the foot, but outside the D, hence a free hit results. Pantashoot, one of the younger players who's been given an opportunity for this particular tournament, in fact making his debut today, the 25-year-old. 8 out of their 18 players have 30 caps or less.
Now we got 3-on-2, Argentina.
Terrific run, terrific finish!
No, it's missed the near post. Sorry to Brian.
How did he miss that?
From up here, I agree with you. It looked just like it. Pearman Black closing it down, but little dink here. Watch this jab here. Jab through the feet, creates the 3-on-2. What an excellent bit of skill. Eyes up, pops the ball into space. In the end, actually, it was a little bit wider than we thought, but what a bursting run through midfield. Great vision, eyes up as the ball rolls. Pearman Black, I think, would have covered the goal if the ball had been on target.
Yes, good bit of goalkeeping, but there's something about an Argentinian in a number 10 shirt, it would seem, because that was their skipper, Matthias Paredes, with an excellent run and superb pass right at the end.
It just shows that you don't need an amazing amount of skill. You just need an awareness of what you are trying to do. That was just a one-handed move of the ball.
Chance at the other end could open up for the Dutch. Useful run from Jonker, but just couldn't provide the finishing touches. It will take something special to beat Juan Vivaldi, who's very, very experienced and an excellent goalkeeper. Loads of experience, 175 caps before today.
Yes, technically not one of the best goalkeepers in the world, however, just seems to get in the way of everything. Corner for the Dutch as the ball gets played across the circle. Defender stepping in the way, just pops the ball up.
5 corners to 0, and that would suggest that Netherlands have had a lot more possession as well in this game in the first quarter thus far.
Yeah, Vivaldi having to make that one fantastic save that we went to video referral just to make sure it didn't go over the line. That was off a deflection from the #1 runner. So far, the Argentinian defence have charged down these corners. If we keep this shot, we won't keep the shot, but we would have seen the lines of the defence, how tight to the goalkeeper they're setting up to charge straight at the flickers.
Once again, it's Mink van der Weijden, and this time he doesn't miss. And at last, Netherlands have that opening goal. Drilled powerfully, no chance at all this time around for Juan Vivaldi.
Mink van der Weijden has picked that up on his back foot, accelerated his body. You see here, picked on his back foot. Look at the whip round the ball there. That's what puts it through Vivaldi. He thinks it's going to his left. Postman cannot see a thing. I don't know why he's standing there. How he can possibly try and do anything. Ortiz on the line. Van der Weijden knows that he's accelerated. He'll have felt the ball slingshot off the end of his stick. Vivaldi didn't even see it.
More than jubilation, seemed a little bit of relief there, more of a sigh of relief, because he'd missed a few occasions before, but this time around, no mistake.
I think that's smart from Van der Weijden, just making sure that he gets something on target in these early stages. It's all very well as a corner striker, particularly of his prowess or the international world leading exponents of that skill, to try and put it inside a postage stamp in the top left-hand corner or in off a post. But actually, with the pace of the ball, and here, it's not the clearest conditions under the light. It's a tiny little bit of fog coming in. You just need to give the goalkeeper the uncertainty that they have to make a choice.
Back with the Argentines. Become the Dutchman again, invigorated, one would think, from that first goal. It's a tremendous run. There's a physical challenge as well.
Yeah, Jonker got absolutely battered down twice. One felt the first free hit could have been given as a corner, could have been upgraded, but he managed to burst his way through. Sander Bar being forced at the back of the Dutch defence to just scramble to get balls again. He keeps being fed behind him. He needs it on his forehand going forwards to create momentum.
The players, there is a player on the pitch rather than an Argentine shirt who I'm very fond of. Augustin Mazzilli has joined the action, but just doesn't have the ball at the moment. It's back with the Dutchman.
What a pass! Oh, he's missed! You do not see Jeroen Hertzberger miss on the backhand very often, and he's blazed that over the bar. It was a beautiful first touch into the circle, the spin in a moment around the feet. Here, that pass from Seve van Ast is outstanding. And however, Hertzberger should have done better.
It's almost had the in-house DJ in trouble because it was heading straight for where he's seated. The pace has picked up, that's for sure, in this evening match, the first of the evening matches. First game from Pool B. Netherlands at the moment leading 1-0.
And now that could cause problems. We've gone for a big overhead. Whenever the pass to Hertzberger across is behind him. We just talked about this lateral transfer from right to left for the Dutch at the moment. It's just falling behind players. Whether there's a bit of ball speed, there's some ball speed issues, but the turf seems to be playing really well, so I don't think it would be.
Vladi. Back to Matthias Ray. Still in the Argentinian defense, and they will play this out for a 1-goal deficit at the end of the first 15 minutes. It has been a first quarter that has been somewhat dominated by Netherlands, but quite even by and large. The only goal coming from a penalty corner conversion by Mink van der Weerden. At the end of the first 15 minutes, it's Netherlands 1, Argentina 0. Well, he'll be quite pleased with the way things have gone. Max Caldas knows that the team has perhaps not yet played at the top gear. They're slowly hitting their straps. A few chances towards the end could have so easily been 2-0 as well. And Argentina on the other hand will just get some of that attacking momentum, which they're, the flair which they're famous for. If they get it going, that should contribute a great deal to what should be a very, very interesting match here today. First match of Pool B, the second one coming up soon, will be Germany against India. And remember, all 8 teams are through to the quarterfinals as it is. And these pool matches are being held in order to get those classification places, or rather that lineup for the quarterfinal right. Some of those last-minute points being explained by Max Caldas. Tell us a bit about him, Simon. He's been quite a global citizen, hasn't he?
Yes, he has, but I'll come back to that in a moment as we just watch a replay. That awareness underneath the arm pass was amazing from Seve Van As, and it was a blazing miss. Here's a different angle on it. That under the arm, beautifully done. Vivaldi read it, however, and came out. Hertzberger on the sprint, very, very nearly took off the head of Geladi, who's in the middle of the goal. But going back to your question, Dubai, Caldas, very much an international citizen, incredible amount of experience, and now very, very well respected as one of the world's leading coaches.
Carlos Rete, he is also a very, very experienced campaigner and would be looking to inspire his troops here for a good effort in the second quarter. We saw in the previous match, which was the second of the day, there was a bit of a fight back from Pakistan in the second quarter, and that's exactly what the Argentinians will be looking to do here. Second quarter begins, but possession almost immediately back with the Dutch.
I mean, you suggested the Dutch needing a little bit more flair. However, I think if the Argentinians sit back, it's difficult to find the space for that flair to be created. The Dutch will want to play off the energy within the game itself.
That is beautifully done once again by Jonker. He is a constant presence.
And again, coming in down that left-hand baseline, the carry position of the ball for Jonker. But the Dutch have now done a little bit high, and the Argentinians nearly picked them apart with that overhead ball. Paredes leading really high. We talked about Piat looking for that if there was space behind the Netherlands backline.
Yes, make no mistake, Argentina have those very tricky attack-minded players, the likes of Paredes, Mazzilli out there.
Well, Mazzilli and Villa over the past 9-12 months have been outstanding individually going forward, but now here's another outstanding individual, Kemperman.
That was made to look so simple going forward. It has found a foot along the way as well. Just carrying the ball with so much of self-assurance. Mirko Pruischer, who's also making his Netherlands debut today. Today's own goal scorer, lone goal scorer rather, Mink van der Weerden on to Sander Bart.
And the Argentinians sitting so far back, if Mink just carried the ball 4 or 5 metres forward, both teams would be entirely in the Argentinian defensive half.
Not had too much impact thus far, barring a sublime bit of skill early on in this match. The captain, Robert van der Horst, he has the ball now. And if he does get involved in a few moves, then the Argentinian defense could be stretched.
Well, if he's getting involved in those moves, it means he's being given too much time and space in the midfield, and Argentina really are sitting very, very deep. Ball pops up here, it's going through, and all of a sudden you've got a shove on the edge of the circle. Hoffman getting a shoulder, obviously from Rossi.
Here they come once again, the young man, Lima, getting some support from the captain this time, Van der Horst. Hoffman, all the way back to Sanderbaard. Remember, out of these two teams in particular, a lot of the Dutch players have been involved with the HIL in the past, so quite familiar with these conditions. Oh, that's a superb through ball. A great chance, a great goal. Tough finish from Netherlands, and it was completely created by the midfield, but the final finish was also very, very sublime there from Kemperman.
Oh, Sanderbaard was given all the time in the world. Spins around, straight through the middle, eyes up, all the way. Look at Kemperman's lead off the shoulder. One touch, bang, Vivaldi nowhere, defence in pieces. Absolutely nothing that Vivaldi could do. I mean, Kemperman has just slaughtered that. I'm not sure Vivaldi would have got it even if he was standing on his goal line. This is a sublime bit of vision. Pick, touch, bang. All that you need is a world-class attacking midfielder. Looked over his right shoulder as he got into the circle, knew exactly what to do before he got the ball. Brilliant.
Two fantastic goals inside the first 20 minutes in this match. Could it be the knockout punch that Netherlands would have been looking for in any case? Argentina will have to show a lot of character from here on to bounce back. They are capable of it, but they will have to raise their game by a few notches.
They're certainly going to have to defend better, Dubai, and they really are. When we've seen them have success, they've created attacking momentum through really good defensive platforms and then some one-on-one skills. So far this game, we haven't seen the likes of Mazzilli and Brunet and Villa get the ball in the attacking 25 and burst forward with any degree of pace or possession.
Also haven't seen much, or I would suspect any of Facundo Caglioni. Remember an outstanding goal that he scored in that 5-2 victory at the World League Finals in Delhi in January. Possibly one of the goals of the tournament, but nothing as yet from Argentina. And once again, they will have to defend well, because here come the Dutchmen. It's an orange wave coming forward, and Vivaldi just for a little while was unsure of how to deal with it.
Well, I think he was unsure in the first instance as well of how to deal with it, but who had touched it in the circle? You see here as the ball gets fed in, it gets a touch, and it is indeed a Dutch stick in the middle of the circle. Suggestion of an Argentinian foot on the slow-mo replay, but nobody went to video.
Ball from Hiladi, but quite comfortably caught by Kemperman.
Great one-handed skill. Roger Hoffman making it look absolutely simple. As he executed the pickup, what he did was prepared his body so his feet were already pointing in the direction he wanted to accelerate when the ball got to him, as opposed to receiving the ball facing away from it and having to spin and turn.
Ball intercepted in midfield for a change. Look at those numbers. 86% possession in opposition half for Netherlands. 9 circle penetrations to 1. Only the second here from Argentina, is it?
A cleaner takedown. Argentina would have been in. They had attention from the Dutch backline. Sanderbaard making sure there wasn't a clean pick in the end. A free hit's been given. 2 players within that 5-metre zone.
Juan Lopez down the right flank. He's somebody who has that ability to create some sublime passes. Tremendous vision as a player.
Now that's the driving run from Villa that he does so well. Kemperman getting caught out a little bit with the free hit being allowed to roll forward by a metre or so. That taking him out of play.
There's Fanas. All the the way back to Sandbart. Tremendous levels of fitness as well from the Netherlands team, which has been in evidence over the last few months. A lot of these players have pretty much played each and every game. Loads and loads of experience among some of the players with more than 50 caps. Oh, this is another brilliant run, another chance. Lining it up on his reverse. It is a penalty corner yet again for Netherlands. Could this be a chance to make it 3-0, in which case one would think it might be game, set, match?
It's Sevi Van Ass who give and go. A brilliant bit of understanding as they go through. Van Ass gives to Van Puffelen, and his return here. Van Ass does brilliantly to get it on goal. Vivaldi just had to set himself with his toes together to avoid leaving that gap down the middle. In doing so, it's hit the toe of his kicker and bounced up dangerously.
There's no Van der Verden at the moment, so there will be some sort of a variation. The two men at the battery. One of them is Hertzberger.
Well, you've still got Hertzberger off that right-hand castle, and then you've got, quite simply, you've got Martijn Havenga on the left-hand castle. We don't know very much about him, but Hertzberger certainly appears to be quite readable, and Vivaldi, a simple left-hand glove save, bringing it across his body, deflecting it away from danger.
Havenga on debut as well, and wouldn't have minded actually registering himself on the score sheet with his possibly his very first shot in international hockey.
Yeah, he's done well, however, with possibly, as you say, possibly his first penalty corner at this level in this kind of competition, but he's got it on target. The goalkeeper's had to make a save. Much better that than allow the adrenaline of the moment to pump through the veins and you just pull the stick head around too much and fire it into the hoardings behind the goal.
This Hero Champions Trophy is being used by a lot of coaches and a lot of teams to try out a few younger players and a few newer players. But what's noticeable, Simon, in these first 3 matches that we've seen out of the 6 teams, Netherlands has a lot of players who are making their debut or playing their first few games who are in their mid-20s. Just tells you about how much quality hockey these guys play.
Yeah, they do, and whilst we look at the simple number of caps, what we don't have is how long they've been involved in the programme. These players could have been training with the national squad for literally for years and just never been given that opportunity, and suddenly there's an injury in a particular position or there's an unavailability of a player and they get their chance, and that's what they've been waiting for a long time. Some players will go through it literally 12-24 months within a programme and not get that chance. So these guys will know each other very well. It's not like they've just been picked out of a club set up with no prior knowledge.
Second quarter in the first game of Pool B, day 1 of the competition at Bhubaneswar's Kalinga Stadium, Hero Champions Trophy 2014. Only the 3rd time that it has come to India, and the 2nd city after Chennai to have played host to this prestigious event. Begun in 1978, and now has reverted to the original format, which was meant to be once every 2 years. Gonzalo Peña hasn't had a lot to do. That's also because Argentina haven't been able to earn for themselves a single short corner in this match. Hilardi on to Peña once again. Sends the ball through, but not a single Argentina shirt at the end of it. Just sums up this first half thus far.
Elpert drifting out to that right-hand side is what he's been doing all the way through these first 2 quarters. So far hasn't been able to find either the overhead or the long slap ball to the forwards who are leading away. Tactically, they're starting in the middle of the pitch very high, trying to leave the wing space they can accelerate into. No outcomes for them playing that tactic so far.
Here come the Dutchmen. They have been flying for most of this half. Just giving possession away. And can Argentina take advantage? Lopez gets a foot. Very quickly taken free hit. Moving forward, Menini. This is looking promising for the first time, perhaps. Argentina with good numbers to go as well. Now what will they look for a foot inside the D? That could perhaps be their best chance here of getting a goal in. Haven't shown enough creativity inside the D as such, or in and around the D.
The Netherlands quite happy to step out and be aggressive in their press as soon as the ball goes to that Argentinian back line. They're right now playing themselves into trouble. Got away with it in the end. Kemperman pulling the ball back from left to right under Manini's feet.
Yes, just an unforced error from the man moving forward. Brunet getting that ball onto his foot. Otherwise, there could have been an opportunity for Argentina with several men forward for the first time possibly in this first half. Not enough attacking intent shown, and that's something that for sure coach Carlos Retegi will look to rectify. But as we mentioned before, with the scoreline as it is, what they need to do is first defend with a lot more effectiveness.
Yeah, and the difference a moment ago between an experienced player like Kemperman against someone with less experience such as Van Puffelen. Kemperman knowing that when he's under pressure, just take the ball left to right and tuck it onto a foot to win that free hit. Van Puffelen without the understanding of what he's trying to do as instinctively. When he had the ball in the midfield, should just have popped it away out of contact, but instead very close to being robbed, giving Argentina a counter-attack opportunity.
This time that free hit was taken by Van der Schoot, another one of the newer players. Now this is locked up. Could possibly have been an opportunity, but instead choosing to go with the long corner option. And just running out of yardage, but still has gone for an opportunity. Possession with the Dutch. Can they finish this quarter and this half with a third goal of their own?
Great use of 3D skills. Breaking forward there. Robert van der Horst just looking to take the ball to air, twisting left and right through space. Kemperman being penalised on the overhead because he was the second player there. No point has that ball been stopped to allow the free hit to be taken. On a free hit, even with the self-pass, the ball does have to be stopped for those of you who are possibly new to the rules or watching this for the first time.
Has been moved forward. Brunet again looking to make the most of it, but dispossessed. And here come the Dutchmen once again. As soon as one of their own players gets a ball, we see 4 or 5 orange shirts suddenly converging upon the Argentinian D.
And even from up here, you can see the wry smile on Robert van der Horst's face as Kemperman saw him out the corner of his eye. I'm sure it's one of the reasons, other than the nationalistic pride, that they wear this bright orange kit, full top to bottom, only because it does draw your eye. It gives you an awareness of where your teammates are. Kemperman couldn't fail to spot the overlapping run from van der Horst. Just put too much on the reverse stick pass.
This time a rare error from the debutant, Venga. That gives an opportunity for Argentina to come up with possibly their last substantial move of this first half. 4 quarters, remember, of 15 minutes each. The first major FIH event with those tournament, or with those rules rather, at least in men's hockey. The women, of course, playing their Champions Trophy, which is drawing towards a close, and Netherlands and Argentina in a few hours from now will be playing the semi-final there.
Venga there, unfortunately, compounding his earlier error by picking up a green card. But he's gone and sat down, so with just 30 seconds to go. This is the third quarter. When it starts after half-time, he'll be sat for another minute and a half or so. Sherman just needs to be careful. So there's Venga having picked up his green card. Sherman, however, a moment ago appealing for a decision that didn't come. And in doing so, if the umpires hadn't seen it, then the play would have gone behind him. Just needs to be aware, play to the whistle, do the simple things well.
The Netherlands here will want to play to the whistle. They are leading by 2 goals to nil. Will want to take that scoreline and ensure that they come back all guns blazing in the second half, because after 2 quarters in this match, it is a reasonable cushion for the Dutch. The ball number 2, and they've had 2 goals. 1 goal from a penalty corner from Mink van der Verden, and then a sublime field goal, which was created thanks to lots and lots of space for Sander Baart. At the end of 2 quarters in this match, it's Netherlands 2, Argentina 0. So lots and lots to do for both teams, and in particular for Argentina. Netherlands are looking like they're cruising it at the moment, and that's where Argentina will have to put some thought into how they can break this Dutch performance thus far. The Argentinians just normally known for their The first match in Pool B at the Hero Champions Trophy thus far at the Kalika Stadium in Bhubaneswar. Beautiful evening, and it's been even more beautiful if you're a Netherlands fan, because Netherlands currently leading by 2-0 against Argentina. A tricky opponent on any given day, but thus far Netherlands have looked the superior team, one would think. Scoring early on through Mink van der Veerden. Standing finish, Simon.
Was indeed. It was the fifth corner I think the Netherlands have had, but Van der Veerden whipping the ball around, the runner not getting close enough to him, and Caldas without a huge amount of vision there. But then we had a flash chance, ball bursting into the circle. Great reverse pass from Sally van Assen, Vivaldi alert to it, and then Hertzberger blazing over the bar. Could have made it 2-0 early doors for the Dutch, but then Sander Bart skinning Mazzilli down the middle of the pitch, finding Kempman with a cheeky look under the shoulder, sees the corner, boom.
It's not being disrespectful to Argentina, but that looked straight out of the training ground, the way that it was done to perfection by the Dutch. One gets the impression there could be still some more to come, but at the moment these are the numbers and they tell the story pretty much. 10 circle penetrations to 2. What's also revealing 69% possession as against 31.
And the problem with that for Argentina is if they now step forward and trying to create something, all of a sudden the gaps will open up, and the Netherlands, if they start to flow, are going to create more chances, and you can only see them scoring more goals. Argentina really need to be the team that score first in this third quarter.
I tell you what, they might just have a little opportunity, because the only card of that first half went right at the end to Martin Havenga, who still has about a minute and 20 seconds to play out on that card. But what's heartening to see, good crowds in at Bhubaneswar, and surely they are building up for Germany against India, which will follow in a short while from now. 7:30 local time, and of course there's still 2 quarters in this game to go, so lots and lots of great hockey on view for everybody.
We'll have to check with our social media team whether we can mention anything that we see on screen, but the enthusiasm of the crowd has grown, and it's actually going to make a massive difference in the last game today, because the noise will be pretty much entirely one way, and it really can start to contribute to a team's performance. The energy levels, the enthusiasm and the adrenaline that courses through the veins, particularly of some younger players.
Just to remind you that you can get in touch with us on social media. We are on Facebook at facebook.com/FIHockey. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/FIHockey. And besides that, on Twitter as well, you can get in touch with us, FIH_hockey. And hashtag it with best of the best. That, I think, is a very suitable line for what the Hero Champions Trophy is all about.
Oh, it certainly is. And we see these players making their mark on the world stage, as we see here. There's the Twitter identity, FIH_hockey, hashtag CT2014 is for this tournament and for the women's that is coming to a conclusion in Mendoza. But these are the best of the best. These are the players that the world's hockey spectators look forward to seeing. But the Argentinians just need to find something a little bit different if they're going to really compete in this second half.
Well, they call themselves Los Leones, and apparently the name was taken on by Carlos Reteji as a homage to the women's team, who are known as Las Leonas. They will have to come out like the Lions that they are known to be. 2-0 down, but it won't be easy against a high-quality Netherlands team. Netherlands in recent times, Simon, have somewhat become perennial bridesmaids in every major competition. They get right up to the final, but just cannot finish the whole thing off. But of course, they have happy memories of playing in India. They won that Hockey World League final in emphatic fashion.
Yeah, and they're a team that sometimes just doesn't fire, and their identity is a lot of flair and a lot of individual talent, and the names of their top players echo around the world. But sometimes when faced with a strategically better opponent, they do fall at that final hurdle. But when they play like this, it is so exciting and so enthralling.
And that's something to look for, like you mentioned, in the first couple of games as well, in this pool phase, where teams automatically gain entry into the quarterfinals. What's important is the performance, and for sure what Max Caldas will tell his players is not to take their foot off the pedal. Look for as many more goals as possible. Martin Havenga will of course have to sit out the first minute and a half or so, but the rest of the team will have to keep firing on all cylinders. With 9 outfield players, they begin, and it is Argentina who pushes back. Argentina in white and blue, playing this time from right to left on your TV screens. Defending their goal on the left in orange are the Netherlands. runners-up in both the World Cup as well as the last edition of the Champions Trophy, which was held in Melbourne.
Brunei down the baseline, just looking to try and pull the ball back onto a foot. That 90-degree pass, quite often the one that unpicks defences, because you're carrying the ball forwards into the attacking zone. Quite often you anticipate a ball across the face of goal, so your defensive lines are on 45, 70 degrees. You pull it back to 90, suddenly there is spaces there, and there was, but no teammates take advantage of the pass.
Van der Vaart on to Mink van der Verden, scorer of the first goal today, Seve Fanas. Oh, that's well picked up. Leader Van Puffelen also playing only his second match here. My God, comes off the post. Yes, absolutely, beating Vivaldi, and Vivaldi has, it is fair to say, not had his best day at the office.
What an outstanding bit of skill from Van Puffelen down the middle of the pitch. As the Netherlands then appealed for a penalty corner that wasn't given, suggestion that they wanted to go to video replay but didn't. Argentina taking the ball away. I'm sure we'll see any moment now as the ball comes through the middle. Starts bobbling and popping up off there. Kick, the ball's bobbling as it comes into the circle. Great connection from Van Puffelen across Vivaldi. And that pretty much sums up disappointment of not scoring.
In fact, I must congratulate Martin Havenga there. Showed a poker face, didn't show too much emotion. And possibly would have been quite pleased because he is sitting out at the moment.
Well, he'd have been absolutely delighted if his team had managed to score a third goal whilst he was off the pitch.
He's back on now, but at the moment it's the Netherlands on the attack. Van der Horst, the captain, scooping this one up. Well received. Into the box, just couldn't control it.
Hertzberger's position as he tried to receive that ball in from Sherman was outstanding. He knew exactly what he wanted to do, just using lower body to protect the space.
Looking promising. The ball did get played through, but for that had raised it.
Lucas Veer trying to play the ball through into space, all of a sudden managed to hit the foot. I think it was Calioni who was leading through a little bit. Certainly some confusion between the players as opposed to a moment ago when we saw a crossfield ball from the Netherlands missed out, deliberately trapdoored by the player in the middle to allow it crossfield.
And how swiftly do Netherlands change defense into attack. That is a tribute to how good this team is. Oh, commentator's curse, striking again. Here we go. Could be a chance for Argentina. Some space to work with, but quickly being closed down by some orange shirts around him. Good bit of defending in the end.
Well, Sherman had to make sure of that tackle because he was coming in from the wrong side. He had given the ball away to Veer in the first instance.
A bit more pace about the start of the second half, and not a surprise at all. Teams just beginning to find their straps as the match progresses in each and every game that we've seen. The second half performance by most teams has been a little bit better, a little bit more well coordinated. Also about adjusting to the conditions, to the turf here, the weather here in Bhubaneswar.
Veer taking the ball to air. In doing so, just by getting that ball 15, 20 centimetres off the turf makes it so hard to execute a clean tackle as a defender.
Brunette, all the way back to Pela.
And he'll be disappointed that he has played such a small part in this game so far. He'll want to play a bigger part, he'll want to throw more passes and get some corner chances. And Ass on the overlap down the right hand side, great pace, he's away if the overhead gets there.
Just terrific vision and in the end well defended. Well, Argentina supporters should not lose heart because what typically happens with Pela is
look at that. Sorry, Divine, but that overhead ball, Hertzberger's awareness. He knew that Hertzberger could throw that, so Van Ass was able to just lead up the right-hand side.
As the link-up play between the forwards has been exquisite. At times when Jonker has joined them as well, Seve Van Ass, Hertzberger, Jonker with the likes of Kemperman, Sandergaard supporting them from behind. This has been slapped in with a lot of power, and Argentina are claiming it. but it hasn't been given.
Well, claiming it was sort of half a hope, insofar as in these days with those video referrals you can easily replay it, so there's no point wasting it on a half-hearted attempt to deceive if you know that you haven't touched it.
The good thing about Gonzalo Peylard is he doesn't need too many chances. If Argentina can somehow squeeze out a short corner here, gets the impression they could well get their first goal, because he's somebody who has a tremendous strike rate in terms of conversion of his penalty corners. But to do that, first they need to get into the circle.
They do indeed, and the Dutch are forcing them back. They're giving away free hits and fouls, but they're all outside that solid white line, so making sure that there's no real opportunity. And that's all a bit hit and hope. That's a great turn, but the ball's just popped away and it's rattled across the fingers of Sander Bar, and I think the umpire's got it under control. Peter Wright has pointed to suggest he does as Van Ast comes forward.
Terrific, terrific. Taking on a number of defenders all by himself and eventually winning a free hit for his team. His work rate today has been exquisite. Seve Van Ast. His father Paul, of course, was the last coach before Max Caldas took over. Hertzberger. Could create some opportunities for themselves. Hoffman, the one who laid that ball up, and then it was swept in with a lot of power.
Yeah, Sherman didn't connect with that at all. Now the ball fired into the circle, doesn't touch anything. Black just getting his feet up and out the way. Reverse stick pass, balls into the Dutch circle as we see that replay. Looks to be a leading high, but the ball played behind him. This is the second game that we've seen where teams are just taking a little bit of pace off reverse stick crosses. We saw it done really well in the Belgium-Pakistan game earlier on today, particularly Belgium looking to play reverse stick balls in. In previous competitions, when we've had the pleasure of commentating, we just see here the scramble at the edge of the circle, pleasure of commentating, balls smashed in have tended to be raised and possessions given away. However, we've seen a lot more control on backhand crosses so far today.
Another sign perhaps of the evolution, the tactical evolution of the game. Teams are beginning to utilize that a little better. Here's Havenga back with Dutch possession, but it must be said in the first 8 minutes or so of this second half and the third quarter effectively, Argentina have just been a little bit more adventurous, moving forward. Greater numbers, pushing forward. At the moment they're all in their own half though.
Well, you're also looking at a situation where a team, when they're comfortable, just take their foot off the gas. If the Netherlands subconsciously felt that things were under control, all of a sudden you take a fraction of a second more time on the ball, your thought process isn't quite as crisp, and it allows your opponent to step out and the momentum can swing because you're in a period of ascendancy. Now that's not a problem if you're 3 goals up, but when you're only 2 up, if Argentina was able to steal one back pretty soon, then suddenly you could see a real momentum change and the Argentinians stepping out more aggressively.
And that's where some of the younger players in the Dutch team will want to take this opportunity and try and get their name highlighted, get onto the pitch, score those goals. Sandoval taking a welcome break. He has had a lot of work to do as well in this match thus far. Argentina with possession down the left flank, lots and lots of space to work with, but quickly being closed down as well. Mazzilli.
Via cutting left and right, just exposed the defender's left foot, knows that he only needs to move the ball about 50 centimetres. Great bit of skill, comes to nothing. All he's looking for as he dribbles with the ball is to get a defender to commit a forehand stick, an open stick block. And as soon as that happens, as opposed to going over the ball in a conventional N shape, he goes under it and pulls the ball in a U shape from left to right with the stick face that lifts it over the stick.
Super skill indeed on display. Thus far, it hasn't borne fruit, but this Argentinian team is capable of pulling those goals out of thin air. Have a habit for the spectacular, but at the moment they'll have to be solid rather than spectacular because Netherlands are on the attack again. Yele Khalima. Completely agree with you. Taylor has had a lot more defending to do than he would have wanted. Not been seen too much in the opponent's half.
Yeah, he has defended more, but it's not like it's a continuous orange wave. They've got a lot of possession and it looks quite comfortable, but it's not like they're creating chance after chance after chance. They've just done really well with the chances that they've had so far. Vivaldi having to do 2 or 3 things very well, but it's not like there's balls being fed into circle all the time. So if we look there, so Netherlands with 63% of possession in the opponent's half, but I'm just not sure it's converting into anything meaningful, particularly in this third quarter. You would expect to have more shots than that if you've got that much possession.
Also matters is 2 of those 5 shots have led to goals, so just in a position of comfort, which means that Argentina will have to pretty much punch above their weight here to come back into this match and win it. But certainly if they get 1 goal, then we could be in for a very exciting fourth quarter.
Yeah, that 1 goal would create just a little bit of belief amongst the Argentinians. At the moment it's a lot of individual dribbling to nothing, that being a case in point. All of a sudden you've got a single player running into 2 and even 3 of their opponents, turning their back on where the ball needs to go. And if you do that as an attacker and you spin with your back where you want to go, 2 things happen. One is you obviously can't go there particularly quickly, and secondly you don't know what's going on behind you. It reduces your vision. You need to spin your feet round, get your eyes up going forwards.
Sloppy play from the Dutchman, a couple of pairs slipping, falling. Avenga in the end recovering enough to retain possession of the ball.
Great turn, what a super bit of skill down the left-hand touchline. Only about a metre of space in order to turn and protect and shield the ball so brilliantly.
Hoffman earns possession for his team. Van der Linden all the way back to Van der Verden. Back with the man who wears the number 3 jersey, Floris van der Linden. Push through for Kieron Herzberger. Would be a great occasion for him to score a goal. 150th cap for him. The more experienced players in this team. Robert van der Horst, Mink van der Verden. Good long ball, well received as well by Van der Linden.
Van der Linden absolutely getting his eyes up and looking for Konstantin Jonker. Jonker led, but the pass was about a metre away from where he needed it to be.
Coming to the last 80 seconds, but you get the impression there could be more goals in this one.
Oh, that needed a great takedown by Floris van der Linden. It was a super overhead into the heart of the Dutch defensive zone. And felt that if there hadn't been that covering run, because he'd been involved in that attacking movement a moment earlier, all of a sudden Argentina were in.
Yes, never count out the Argentinians, and that's what they're showing in this quarter.
But look at this overhead ball. It's a great overhead ball. Van der Linden makes it look very easy in the end, but all of a sudden, if he hadn't done, Argentina were in.
Has been a much more competitive quarter, if one can call it that. 15 minutes where both teams have gone to and fro. Netherlands perhaps with the slightly better chances, but Argentina as well have created some openings in and around the goal, but not done enough to bother Film in Black as yet. That will be the order of proceedings surely to come back in the fourth quarter. Possession still with the Dutch, looking for possibly one final attack. Oh, that's beautifully done.
Herzberger's awareness to know the defender who'd come up against him had dropped his stick, and so that he could just accelerate around. Such choosing to recycle play rather than go at the head of the circle.
The end of the third quarter, no goals in this one, and at the end of 45 minutes in this match, 3/4 of the game done. Netherlands leading against Argentina by 2-0. Max Caldas will be happy with the overall effort, but this has been a much better performance from the Argentinians, and well, it is a 2-goal gap. Otherwise, one would think perhaps that the fourth quarter could still have some drama in it, especially if Argentina can get in an early goal. The Netherlands, they've also had their chances. Their attacking players have performed exceedingly well today. The likes of Hertzberger, Sebe van As, and also Constantine Jonker when he's got on the pitch. The goal scorers, of course, Mink van der Weerden, and the other one coming in from Robert Kemperman. Really has been a good performance, and they would want to try and keep it going for the rest of this match as well. Argentina have some individual players of class, and they will look to try and bring that back in. Who will draw first blood in Pool B? That is the question here. Netherlands looking good for those 3 points, Simon.
They are at the moment, and they're looking composed. When you look across the faces of the players, there's no heaving chests and shoulders, there's no real fatigue. There's a good sweat on out there because it's sticky conditions, but overall there's no stress, as opposed to you look at those men, they look flushed, they look like they've been working hard to very little avail, and they're going to need to find a moment of brilliance, maybe just to create that corner that they're looking for, to give Piat a chance to bring them a little closer to any kind of result from this game.
Well, this is, of course, the tournament with the best of the best playing each other, but one could say that Pool B is possibly a little bit more open, considering how 2014 has panned out for the other two participants. Germany haven't quite been the Germany that we've come to know in recent years, and India, on the other hand, have played some very good hockey in recent months. It's Argentina who get things moving in the fourth quarter, and they still have the 2-goal deficit to encounter and possibly get past it. It'll take some doing, though.
Yes, it will indeed, because it's just not been a conversion of the possession that they've had for Argentina into anything meaningful. But now they're just starting with a slightly higher press. Van der Weerden having to go to the air to get the ball out and away from danger. That very, very close to an exceptional takedown from Kalima. A cross-field sprint of a good 45 metres.
There are some hugely gifted players in this Netherlands lineup, and Gelo Kalima is one of those young players who's got a bright future ahead of him. But this man has done it all. He's doing it again, once again. Great run, moving forward, via.
Time and time and time again, he comes forward with that individual skill. Well, now that's a big hit on Piat, shoulder to shoulder. Hasn't pulled out of the challenge, but's walked away from it. Nothing more than a little shrug. At one moment, I thought the shoulder of Halima had gone through the forehead of Piat, but it doesn't seem to have any ill effects.
Yes, short in stature, but very strong young lad, and does make the most of his gifts. Hasn't had an opportunity to show off his biggest asset possibly, that being his penalty corner conversion in this match.
Facing the ball down as it bobbles off the end. Paredes quite happy to do that legwork, try and create a little bit of pressure, and Argentina need to do that. They were backing away their press, so the defensive lines, to about 40 metres earlier on in this game, and they do need to step out as they do there. It's Paredes stepping out on a particular angle. As you come out as a forward, if you run an arc, you can force your opponent to go one way, to stay to one side of the pitch. Needed exactly that as he stepped out as a centre forward, cutting the pitch in half, got some support from his midfield, therefore Argentina can defend a smaller area.
Max Caldas looking quite relaxed at the moment, as is his team. They're sitting pretty, not pressing as much as they possibly would have had the scoreline not been so blatantly in their favour. 2-0 at the moment. That's why pretty much every Dutch player is inside his own half. Only Jonker wandering out just on the left of your screens.
And wandering being exactly the right word to Bayern. It's a case that the Dutch haven't been forced to sprint and shuttle and harry and really put a huge amount of pressure on the Argentinians yet. You see here, that's a lovely little first touch. There's no contact in the middle, but it's nothing malicious. Van der Schuit going down to ground. Corner for Argentina. This might be the chance. Sandoval is going away.
Yes, at long last, and it comes through a good run which came down the left flank. Matthias Paredes, the captain, did very well.
A super ball pulled left and right. Did Mink van der Veerde completely to create the space. In doing so, Sandoval had to commit to the tackle, pulling the ball back. He'll be disappointed that he didn't pick the ball from Paredes cleaner.
Yes, a soft penalty corner given away, and Gonzalo Peña is right in there, the number 2, having a little bit of a discussion, but make no mistake, this being the very first, unless Argentina have a major surprise for us, it will be Peña who will try and whip this one in with a lot of power. Has that ability to get that last minute flick of the wrist.
That's a brilliant save. I'm not sure that Perman Black really knew where the ball was. It pulled across his body. That's another fantastic pick.
Could be a hat-trick. Indeed it is.
That's it. 3 out of 3. First one, Piat's pulled round, and Perman Black's got a right hand to it. Second one, I think, was a right toe. Third one was hands in front of his face. If his hands hadn't come together, that would have rattled his cage. Sorry, I mean the visor on the front of his helmet.
Well, picked ahead of Gap Stockman, and just suggesting why he is considered one of the top goalkeepers, even though he has somebody like Stockman in his team. Now, this is a lovely long ball. It's been picked up too.
Good awareness of the ability to use all the pitch on the counter-attack, and now some real pace going around the outside. And Asper pulling the ball back to create a corner.
Argentina had a slew of chances just a while ago.
So we see the corner, and it's pulled round from left to right. All of a sudden, Black getting a big right-hand gauntlet onto it. It comes back into the circle, drilled in, and it's a tight save. Right foot lifts the ball up. Umpire, really good advantage. And spin on the backhand for Piat. Hands in front of face.
Could be pressed into action yet again, because Argentina were on the move, but in the end his defenders this time making sure that he was not brought into action. Well, just watching as a layperson, we'll get back to that, because here's an opportunity now for Netherlands.
Look at Hertzberger go.
What a run, what a chance, what a touch!
Oh, it's in!
And eventually it does find its way in.
Oh, that was all because of Hertzberger's legwork. The ball was carried through midfield brilliantly, but Hertzberger accelerated.
Young Dieter van Puffelen gets his first goal in international hockey for Netherlands, and what a sweet finish as well.
Well, look at the overlap run from Hertzberger to the right of the screen. Then's the dump pass. He goes backhand across, tap into Vivaldi. Vivaldi actually saves it and then back sticks it into his own net. Van Puffelen does score in the end, but you could suggest it's a goalkeeper's own goal. There's the save. There he knocks it into his own goal with the back of his hand. Stop, save, pick, and knocks it in. And Vivaldi will be gutted.
And as so often happens in any sport, when one team is under the cosh, the other one comes back and scores. And that is the case here, because Argentina had 3 great opportunities. It didn't work out for them, and now look at this. Netherlands 3-0.
When that ball was picked through midfield, Hertzberger must have been 15 metres behind where the ball was picked up. And it was his commitment. Now that's going to hurt. Just pausing because we've got a player who's been wrapped. I think Jonker been wrapped on the fingers. But here we go. There's the ball carry. Hertzberger's gone round his shoulder, goes on the backhand, across. There's a good save. There's a second save, and then there's not.
It shows you the value of making those runs in from deep, because as Simon did mention, Hertzberger pretty much materialized from nowhere. And had he not actually joined in the attack, Argentina probably would have had a numerical advantage. But as it turned out, it was 3-on-3. And before you knew it, the ball was in the back of the net, albeit no thanks to Juan Vivaldi, who, as we mentioned before, hasn't really had his best day out there. A little bit mercurial, like the rest of the Argentinian team, and today's been a day to forget.
I think he did well with the second save. The problem was, as the ball went down to his left-hand side, he went to save with his left hand rather than his left foot, and just didn't get the propulsion, didn't get the contact on the ball that would have taken it away to safety. That teed it up for Van Puffelen just to flick it back at him, but he got his body in the way. Great core strength to lift his torso up, but then having bobbled the ball into him, he wasn't aware of where it was. He tried to get his hands to a different position, in doing so knocked it into his own net.
Just a little bit unfortunate, but just a while ago when we saw Black's saves, I was mentioning, was just watching as a layperson, what was remarkable to see was how quickly he managed to get himself up. And that's what allowed him to pull off those 3 successive saves.
Well, if you go back to the good old days when goalkeepers were proper goalkeepers and they were wide before they even put their kit on, obviously they weren't the most athletic people on the pitch, but these days the goalkeepers, there's a trend for keepers to be that much bigger, to physically covering a huge amount of size, but they're also incredibly athletic, and a lot of the time they actually have the best spring and core strength across an entire squad, because they just need to move over 5 meters really, really quickly and save one way and then react to save the other.
Netherlands now in a position of great comfort, but can Argentina get something back of their own? They have found this penalty corner for themselves, and normally this is their best chance.
Sarnavart's down. I don't know where he's been hit, whether his hands are on his head because his head hurts or his hands are on his head because something else hurts. Simple skills down the baseline, ball being moved and then popped. Oh, it's hit him in the chin as he's gone down low. That ball's popped up. You could suggest they haven't gone to video replay, but you would suggest that if you'd gone to video replay, I didn't see any kind of touch off a stick that raised the ball himself. Just hit him probably on the point of the collarbone.
Just a little bit painful for him here, and occupational hazard.
Might have come off the grip of his own stick or his hand to just lift it. Certainly the umpire didn't perceive that it had gone straight into his throat. We've got the medical team on the pitch to look after him. It didn't look like he was in any massive pain or stress. They'll make sure that he keeps himself safe.
Well, once again, Permin Black.
Well, this is the whip corner. It's a good right hand because that's behind him. That's actually gone past Permin Black, and he's caught that on the wrist roll. Comes in here, bobbles in close. That's a great right foot reaction save. Now watch his body position. He's really flinched away from this to get his hands up in front of him. Really happy.
Yes, the jig at the end was perhaps the best part of that replay, but outstanding goalkeeping from him. He's justified his selection, and a problem of plenty in a sense for Max Caldas, because he has got Stockman still yet to go. Sandergaard can possibly take the rest of the evening off because he has done his job. He's been excellent today. Can Argentina get one goal of their own, begin their account in the Hero Champions Trophy?
Rear ward off the #1 runner's foot. Accelerating straight down the line of the ball is Hoffman. Running a really tight line off the left hip of Permin Black, giving him a straight line, shortest distance.
Some tense moments. They will be itching to get on that score sheet and find at least one goal of their own before this evening runs out. And this is possibly their best opportunity, those penalty corners. A hat-trick this time.
Again, he's blown that. I think they're going to go to video referral. They're going to go to video because that's off Hoffman's stick, not his feet. It's been overruled to start. It's been overruled. The disengaged umpire, absolutely rightly. Out it comes. Hoffman runs a really tight line, but it goes off the head of his stick into the sliding Argentinian. Umpires very quickly talking to each other. Menini was the man on the floor diving for the tip-in, but I'm pretty sure that was meant to be a straight flick from Piat.
Here come the Dutchmen. They have put up a 5-star performance thus far, but with 3 goals. And they provide an exclamation mark to this performance. Hoffman at the moment just hobbling away. The work rate of some of the players has also been exemplary. Erzberger has also spent a majority of the time on the pitch.
And we forget about the work rate of these athletes. Obviously we see competitions fairly regularly, but we don't see this level of competition every weekend. We go back into the hockey family and we see in our clubs and our schools, etc., what players do on a daily basis. And you occasionally see a flash and a moment of brilliance, but when you bring those flashes of brilliance together, and you see players such as this executing the skills that they do at such a high intensity, it makes you marvel how the game continues to develop and evolve and provide such great entertainment.
Missed just a little obvious in that shot there, as we are, of course, approaching peak winter here in the eastern part of India, here in the state of Odisha.
That's a poor pass. Holland have got away with it, I think. No, they haven't. Argentina have countered because they've stolen the ball at centre midfield.
Well done as well. Now moving into a position of threat, goes for the reverse. Oh,
that's another great save again. Pearman Black with, that must have been the toenails of his left foot. Argentina with a man on the far post.
Yes, Menini with a fabulous shot, and Pearman Black had to put on his dancing shoes there.
Oh, that's in the words of an old English cartoon, that's go-go gadget legs, that is. In here, Menini goes backhand. Pearman Black gets enough of a touch to lift the ball over the stick on the far post of Paredes.
It's also seemed to just graze the post, so living dangerously, but it has been a fabulous performance in this second half by Argentina. It hasn't been rewarded by a goal as yet.
And here we see the chance again. And Menini comes in, backhand across. I do him a disservice. I'm not sure actually on second look that was the goalkeeper. I think that might be the defender in front of him getting the bottom edge to bobble it up. Either way, vital Dutch defensive performance to take it away from the far post. Paredes was waiting to tap it in.
It's a job well done either way, and that is why Netherlands leading by 3-0 at this stage. Remember, it is also about finishing top of the spool, and if you win well, then that just helps your cause. Gives you that little bit of an extra cushion. If you do happen to lose any of your subsequent games, then it will just put a little bit of pressure on the remaining chasing pack. Kemperman, man who got the second goal for his team, was released initially by the scorer of the first goal, Mink van der Weerden. Back to van der Weerden.
Even now, Robert van der Horst happy to battle through the midfield to ensure that the Dutch keep possession, knowing that if he keeps possession himself, doesn't lose it, the guys around him can just take a small breath, realign themselves structurally.
This has probably played more of a holding role in this particular game, not move forward as much as he has done, but this time around he was right there, instrumental in creating this chance. Still could wind up as a shooting opportunity, but in the end it's the Argentinian defenders who regroup and manage to get the ball away. 3-0 Netherlands at the moment, leading by. And just a little more than 2 minutes to go in this game. It will be allowed to harmlessly roll through. Good performance all around by the men in orange. Goals from Mink van der Weerden. The second goal coming in from Robert Kemperman, and the third from Dieder van Puffelen. The likes of Van Aas, Hoffman, all have had a terrific game. Back to Havenga. Van der Weerden. Kemperman. Really playing in cruise control at the moment with less than 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, making the passing look pretty simple as they just go from side to side, recycling the ball through midfield. Still with a deep back three, the Dutch quite happy. They don't need to commit men to forward positions. Van der Horst has been outstanding during the course of this game. Has been surrounded by some exceptional midfield play from the likes of Kemperman and Van Aas.
Good ball slid through by the captain, looking for Kemperman. He almost bulldozed his way through a couple of defenders, but eventually the Argentinian sticks retrieving the situation. Now this could come back as a chance for Konstantin York. Needs to keep it in play, and he does so beautifully. He's pulled his way back in. Could this be the fourth? Cut it back. Living dangerously, the Argentinians, even though they have virtually every man behind the ball now.
Living dangerously indeed. They played the ball away. Vivaldi not called into action. But this battle down this baseline for Jonker, I thought he'd missed it 2 or 3 times, and then suddenly he's got it on the end of his stick. Protects the ball with his left foot.
Meantime, almost a chance at the other end. So end-to-end action, but too little, too late for Argentina. Even if they do find a goal here, they will lose out on an opportunity of starting with a positive result. But a goal will just make them feel a little better going into their second game. Now once again, it's Agustin Mazzilli who's looking to move forward but cannot quite keep control of that ball. So this will be the last move, and it will be the finishing touches to a fantastic performance from the Dutchmen, picking up on Indian soil from where they left off in the Hockey World League finals. It was 7-2 against New Zealand in the final there. It's finished 3-0 here for Netherlands. Goals from Mink van der Weerden from the penalty corner in the first quarter. Second quarter, there was a beautiful goal which was finished off by Robert Kemperman, and from then on it always looked like they were playing very comfortably all the way through. And the third goal came in, again a perfect team effort, field goal from Eder van Puffelen, who was only playing his second game in a Netherlands shirt. Lots and lots of good individual performances from the team in orange. And Argentina will just have to get back to the drawing board, figure out some of the things that they did wrong. Possibly their defending also leaving a lot to be desired, and especially their usual flair in attack was also missing today. Full-time scoreline, Netherlands 3, Argentina 0. The Netherlands drawing first blood in this Pool B. 3 points for them, 3 goals for them, and an excellent performance from the entire unit, Simon.
Yeah, controlled, composed, started so well with a corner from Van der Weerden, doing what he does best, deceiving Vivaldi to his right-hand side. That last-minute whip and change of direction, almost a full second touch. Caldas looking at that as if that's just a walk in the park. Sander Bart, then a beautiful turn and eyes up to find Kemperman. He takes a cheeky look over his shoulder to find the space. There's the look, touch, bang. Vivaldi absolutely nowhere near it. Pretty exposed by his defensive lines, however. Kemperman making no mistake on the backhand. And then moments later, the explosive run from Hertzberger down the left-hand side. First dive, Vivaldi gets Puffelen saved on the first opportunity from Vivaldi, and then Vivaldi managing to backstick it into his own net for the third Dutch goal. Van Puffelen probably deserved it for the commitment to the run.
Yes, lots and lots of good play from Netherlands, reflected in the numbers. Argentina, interestingly, with 13 circle penetrations as against 15 for Netherlands, but just not making the most of it. 4 shots to 6, and that would point perhaps a finger at Juan Vivaldi. He'll go back a little bit disappointed, conceding 3 goals from 6 shots, although the possession was much more for the Netherlands. More penalty corners for Netherlands as well, fewer for Argentina, and that possibly could have been a huge difference in terms of where this game could well have gone. Netherlands winning this game by 3-0. And the crowd here at Bhubaneswar just building up, getting more excited because Germany versus India is going to follow shortly after this game, which has been won quite convincingly by the Dutchmen. The second-ranked team in the world winning this 3-0. Wonderful reception that they're getting as well from the crowd here at Bhubaneswar. And that's the thing about this area, isn't it, Simon? They love their hockey and they love their good hockey players.
Well, they just appreciate good hockey when it's put out in front of them. And the Dutch, I don't think they were really in top gear at any point today. However, they certainly put on a good display and the crowd enjoyed it.
It's absolutely just soaking in the applause from both sections of the crowd, the grandstand as well as the one just opposite to us. So great performance from Netherlands, and there is no doubt about the fact that the hero man of the match will also come from the team in orange. Let's go down to Michael Absalom and find out who is the man of the match.
Thank you very much, and a warm welcome to the hero man of the match presentation for this match between the Netherlands and Argentina. Congratulations to the Netherlands, who went on to win that game. Alongside me from the FIH is Martin Gallivan, the FIH competitions manager, and today's man of the match, Sevi Vanas. Now, Sevi will receive a trophy there from Martin, as well as a cheque for 25,000 rupees. He is tonight's hero man of the match. Sevi, great winning start for you and the boys.
Yeah, it was a very good start. We played really well. The tactic worked, and yeah, it's a great start and a great atmosphere to play here. So, yeah, I'm very proud of the boys.
What do you think about this amazing crowd here in Bhubaneswar?
Yeah, it's amazing. I love them already, so it's going to be a great tournament, I think.
Okay, well, best of luck for the rest of the tournament, and we'll see how you go. Hopefully the same success as in January.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
It has been quite an entertaining day one at the Hero Champions Trophy. 10 goals across 3 matches. Argentina, the last one which they lost out to Netherlands 3-0. Before that, of course, 2 games in Pool A where Australia were beaten by England, the team which has won the last 5 consecutive Champions Trophies, getting possibly a little bit of an upset. Belgium also beating Pakistan 2-1. The last game, 7:30 p.m, so just a little while from now, little less than half an hour from now, it's Germany against India, which will be a massive, massive fixture in Pool B. Connect with us on social media as well, Facebook at FI Hockey, on Twitter at FIH_hockey with the hashtag CT2014. Germany against India. Remember, they had a couple of outstanding games back in January in the Hero Hockey World League finals, and one would expect the same in this Hero Champions Trophy as well. So Germany versus India in just a short while from now. And that will be a big, big match, because remember, India, of course, have had some good form coming in. They won the Test Series 3-1 in Australia. And Germany, of course, slightly disappointing 2014 thus far. Crowd also building up, so lots and lots of excitement expected in just a short while from now at the Kalinga Stadium. For the moment, with the news that Netherlands have got off with a victory in this campaign, 3-0 against Argentina. Germany versus India, the second Pool B encounter coming up in just a short while from now. Just about 25 minutes. Do join us then. And for the moment, thank you for your company for this game between Netherlands and Argentina.